responsible, the fifth defender there in the back line. And that shows their intent that it's not going to allow from the middle. What will Northeast try? Will they go on from the wide? Yes, they have a good amount of ammunition there. Partip, Chitin, Mayakan and Antonio.
It's a foul. Just a little nudge in the back on Zahid, which has left him. It was an awkward fall, actually. He landed square on his back.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be okay.
And that's like a thug, just falling on the back. A strong defender there in Echo. A lovely ball, diagonal. That's going to be threatening in every time or there. That's a little push, I suppose.
It wasn't actually Zahid that he fouled.
Yeah.
It was his own player that fouled him. Looked as though it was Farhan that just took a nudge and then knocked him into his own player. But Satrastegi is an experienced player. Came through Osasuna's youth system. It's only the second time he's played outside Spain. He had a spell at Wisla Krakow in Poland. Interesting to see how he settles for Juan Pedro. On his side, it doesn't matter what 11 he has out. He's always very animated. It's on the sidelines. Benali wants the best from his team. Doesn't suffer falls, and he's very vocal in his thoughts as well. Was very vocal about the fans coming out to support the team in the last edition of the Indian Super League. Throw into FC1.
It's nice to see that they're getting the space that's required over there, not afraid to really play that 1-2 pass and get over behind the defenders.
The ball just stayed in there. It was a great run from Farhan just to keep it in play. It looked like it would roll out of play, but Robin Yadav forced to deal with it. Sporting Delhi booked their place in the quarterfinals last night with another big win. Rodriguinho on the mark again. FC Rangde, Mohun Bagan, Northeast United on the cusp of qualification. Oh, was that a handball? Yes, it was. It's a penalty to FC1. There was an arm outstretched, and the newcomers have got a penalty. And the referee just hesitated for a second, but there was certainly an outstretched arm in there when that ball came into the box.
There were two incidents over there. The handball maybe one, and the other was a push near the penalty area. The referee was very close to that action, and it'll be interesting to watch what happened there. Yep, that is one. And the other one is on the penalty area there.
Well, it was a push from Moyano originally, but I'm pretty certain the referee has given it for the handball by Robin Yadav. He certainly pointed to his arm. And a real chance for FC1 here to take the lead against the two-time winners. Musa has the ball in his hand.
Yep. But it's interesting to watch Oyo Mark, because the team are never afraid to really get out and exploit the space, and that's exactly what they did in the last two attacks. They really went one on the right, on the left, and one on the right, where Musa really gets that corner for the team and brings the ball in very nicely.
A big chance for Mohan Raj, who only signed for Northeast United 3 weeks ago. It will be Musa to take the penalty. Oh, saved by the goalkeeper. It wasn't a good penalty. And the young goalkeeper becomes an instant hero among those Northeast faithful. Didn't really have the pace on it, and he had plenty of time to see it. But they still have defending to do from the corner. Great save, though.
I think the decision made was very right. He just goes on to the left. Very low that ball was. Not too much of pace in that ball. Didn't really get that reflexes off there from the goalkeeper. And what a save. That is super save. And that too in the 8th minute as we start this match. And suddenly FC1 has shown a little more courage in that midfield. It started playing some fluid passes.
Well, This is the 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup, powered by State Bank of India and Coal India Limited, organised by the Indian Armed Forces and supported by the government of Assam. Musa was red-carded after the final whistle in the first game against Morning Star, so he missed the game against Durand, as did Armando, who's back in the side today at the back. That was his wayward pass a moment or so ago that put the ball out of play. But you have to say that's a real missed opportunity for FC1, because North East United probably won't allow them too many attempts at goal, and if set pieces might be important, that penalty was crucial.
Really, what a chance that was to really get inside.
Jitin's ball across and punished straight away by North East United. Parthiv Gogoi set up by Jitin, and moments after surviving a penalty, Parthiv gets his first goal of this campaign to put North East United in front, and they lead by a goal to 0.
Oh, fantastic move there. Simply the vertical which used. The ball came in 3 passes right into the box, and what a way. Look at that run from between the 2 defenders. Just slash a turn around, but Parthiv made his attempt so well over there. Comes in the right nick of time. Gets that ball across the goalkeeper for a fantastic goal.
That was actually brilliant play by Jitin, because when he got the ball, he had a look up, and it was absolutely perfectly into the path of Parthiv. Brilliant ball across. He scored in the final last year, Parthiv Gogoi, in the 6-1 win over Diamond Harbour, and gets his first goal of this Durand Cup campaign to put North East United in front.
It's really something that FC1 would really regret for the first half. They have to get back into this. They showed a little bit of courage, passing the ball in the middle of the park, trying to find the pace behind the Northeast defender, and were very successful to get behind in the attacking third, getting a penalty, not making it. I'm sure this man also would know how important that would be to really pump up the team for FC1 after that penalty. But now they're falling back. Shoulders little drooped.
Yeah, the pace of Jitin has caused many defences problems over the years. Tremendous pace. If you can find him, timed his run to perfection as well. There's no foul. Moyano plays it forward. Flicked off by Effian. He flipped towards Moyano, who continued his run. Just starting to insert their muscle in midfield at the moment and win those second balls. Tondomba, Satrastegi, Moyano. Very similar kind of player to Andy, who was in the North East United last season. Moyano likes to sit deep, to play balls like that, left and right. Tondomba, Jitin on the overlap again. Tondomba looking to provide the cross this time. No height in it. It was easy for Zahid.
Very interesting over here, because that North East United, when they're in possession of the ball, they're really swift, move from one end to the other. But what they do when they lose the ball is very important. They really press on to fight for the ball and get it back, and Tondomba really gives that a little bit of edge over there. Robin Yadav from the left, and then Antonio also really pressing hard so that they get the ball back and back in possession.
Tondomba looking to launch that throw. It's a clumsy challenge by McCartan, who just needs to be careful with that reaction. We've seen yellow cards given for those reactions.
Yeah, but he tried to really block him. A little bit nudge from that arm of his must have caught the referee. Otherwise, the tackle was very valid. What a player he has been. McCartan has been in that central role, tried to put the ball to the left and right, tried to get his midfielders into the game.
average age of 22, the FC1 side. Very much a youth-based team. Just two foreigners, one of them in the starting lineup today, Armando, who hails from the Ivory Coast. Was in towards Etienne again, couldn't get a touch on it. And Etienne have both found the net this season for their new club. A 6-0 win over Bodo Land and a 4-1 win over Morning Star. They didn't have everything their own way against Morning Star. They were only leading by a goal to nil at half-time. And Pedro Benali made plenty of early changes in that game, and they eventually managed to get 3 goals in the second half, 2 of them in the final 8 minutes.
This was a great move here once again, getting into the attacking third. FC1 with Salman up front, Farhan trying to get that ball to Shakir. Oh, what a ball that was. The defender had to put that out awkwardly for a corner.
And Musa needs to put that penalty miss disappointment behind him. That's a good header away. Etienne back on defensive duty. Only 24 years of age. It's good to see some of the younger foreigners coming to India to play, especially from Spain, where they have such a technical upbringing. Another corner from Musa. Just bobbling around awkwardly. Ashir couldn't get a touch on it. Back in again from Farhan. Better defending though from North East United.
It was the first time we see them all defending that ball. Not very rare. It's a rare sight for us. But nevertheless, I think slowly and steadily FC1 trying to regain that confidence, especially with that defender Teddy Armando behind, rock solid. They're trying to get them organized from behind. And they're not taking much time over there. They're not putting in 2 or 3 passes in the midfield and then trying to get onto the open space. They're trying to get that 1 or 2 passes and try to put the players up front, because Shakir, Farhan, Hayat have the ability to really move into that wides and create that space that they want.
Ashir Akhtar. North East United lead by a goal to nil. Partib Gogoi. Here's Moyano. Satrastegui. Ashir. It's a foul from behind from Armando. And straight through Etienne. Might be lucky not to get a yellow card there.
Yeah, it's the second time that he follows him when he's with the ball, and that's the instruction must have given by the coach. Look at that. That's a boot is high. It's tackled from behind. It just escapes that card.
Got a straight red against Morning Star just past the hour. Meant his side had to defend that 2-1 lead with a man light. They did it well though. Free kick to North East United. Let's see what they can plot from here. Moyano over the ball. Ninkovic, the new signing who's on the bench, is a bit of a set-piece specialist. That wasn't too far away. Just had the goalkeeper scrabbling across Aftab.
I think that was a great range to really curl the ball inside. Unfortunately, just couldn't hit the target.
Zahid. Just getting penned in a bit here. FC1, Musa. Shakir was a little bit close to him there. He's opted to go for the long option, and Salman, who just runs the ball out of play.
Nothing to lose here for FC1, to play the game that they're playing. Really play a little bit high so that they get a breather. We see in Northeast United play in that mid-block, not really pressing that ball. When FC1 has got the possession, they're just waiting for them to make the mistakes.
Zaffa just trying to get to the ball first. There he is again, launching that one, but way too long for Hayat.
Pointing on him. It was of our one player. We've seen him. His work rate is good. He moves into attack and really falls back pretty well.
Robin Yadav getting a second start in the competition today. One of many players that have come through Bengaluru's youth system over the years. Here's Ashir Akhtar. Satrastegi. Tondomba. Chitin, his pace has already caused problems. Nice little back heel for Tondomba. Moyano. Just bouncing away and behind. Yesterday, Henry, when CISF protectors went up against Murmaghan and got heavily beaten, players like CISF and FC1, realistically, they probably not expected to win the game, so they can probably play with a little bit more freedom and just try and enjoy the football and enjoy the experience.
You're absolutely right. When we talk about such games, where there is nothing to lose, and that's where you get a little more confidence of what you want to do in this game. Just take that experience, play, rub their shoulders against the top players and foreigners. And that's exactly what Khalid Qayyum must have told them. There's nothing to lose. Play your game, play a high line, try to snatch the ball in the middle of the park. It's not necessary to keep 5-10 passes there. If you get the ball, release the pressure, get the wingers up there. And that's exactly, I think, FC1 would be planning themselves.
Oh, Robin was looking for the long throw there, but he tried to play it short to Maya Cannon. Wins another throw in for Northeast United. Didn't have the greatest of Indian Super League seasons last year. They won their last 3 games to add a bit more respectability. They did flirt with relegation for a while. Mohammedan, of course, were relegated last season, but they clearly missed the goals of Aladdin Alajare, who was on loan in Indonesia. We'll be delighted to see him back for the new season. And the new foreigners, we've already had a look at all of them, apart from Ninkovic, who we may see later, settling in nicely to their new roles. Have conceded possession. Northeast United, FC1 have had 56%. Northeast United have the lead, though.
Yeah, but we need to see the attacking powers over here, because time and again, Northeast has shown that they can penetrate.
Here's McCartan trying to get that one across. Good play from Armando, who closed him down, made sure he couldn't get the angle for the cross. But again, that ball splitting the defenders.
That's the runners, when we talk about the runners getting in between the defenders, it's up to the defender how close they are, how much they can get the player into a non-dangerous zone. And that's exactly what Armando did. Took him off that area, didn't allow him to cut it in.
Moyano to take the corner. Armando's header. Bobbling around, he took a slight deflection. Goalkeeper kept his eye on it all the way though after that. Makes a comfortable stop.
And that was a surprise shot over there. Simply, the ball didn't carry the way they wanted to. But Arman just puts that head out. But look at that. A little bob there, like you said. The goalkeeper was very much alert. And sometimes these are dangerous. The goalkeepers just read that very well over there.
Satrastegui that just dangled out a leg at the ball, and I think that goes down as a shot on target. So,
Of course.
would have been interesting if it had gone in. It would have been one of the most bizarre goals of the tournament so far. 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup continues to entertain us. Heading towards the end of the group stages. 2 more days to go after today, and then we know our quarter-final lineup. Here's Jitin. Looking to tease Salman once again. There he goes, drops the shoulder, finds that little bit of pace. Lovely clip into the box. Just a fraction too much on it for Partib, but great work again from Jitin.
He's sizzling out down there. Every time he gets a ball, he can go 1v1, and he's always successful over there. Look at the way he gets inside. And he's got that first time attempt over there. The upright was just in his way. Although this would have been another fantastic goal for him if that would have gone in.
And Jitin, who burst onto the national scene with his club performances. One of a number of players that have played for Kerala Blasters in the past, but really has found his home here at North East United. Satrastegui loves to get forward. Good to see that in a centre-back, supporting the attack. Ashia, who's the bit more reserved of the 2 central defenders, although he'll take advantage of the fact that FC1 have got everybody back behind the ball at the moment. That's not a great ball. Salah comfortably cuts that one out. Hayat did well there. Oh, he's trying to just slip that.
Yeah, that was a great momentum there. The tempo was good. The passing was nice. The combination is very important over there, especially when you get the combination to go right. Shakil somehow just stopped. In that moment.
It's Partib Gogoi there, the goal scorer with that one. Had a little bit more time than he thought on the ball. He tried to play it in first time, but went straight through to the goalkeeper. It'll be interesting to see the path that FC1 take, having established themselves. They have been going for some 4 years or so, trying to develop talent in their part of India. It'll be interesting to see if they can break into the I-League structure going forward.
There's a lot of buzz over there, you know. When you talk about Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, there's a lot of buzz there, and also in Ladakh. You've got teams springing up, new players, new talent over there. Wasaf are really getting the ball first. What a man he is in the midfield, always wanting himself to be at the end of the link between the defense and attack. But yep, like Northeast, slowly and steadily Jammu Kashmir has shown that there are more teams coming up. The interest has built up over there. More chance for the talented players.
Well, they certainly don't look like a newly formed team. They've got some very good players. They've clearly had a 3-week preparation period for the Durand Cup. The coach said he was pleased with the preparations and the way things had gone. And getting off to that winning start, made big press and was all over social media. And the big Morning Star in their first game. And or in the manner with which they made that win as well. Down to 10 men. Playing towards Tondumba. Salman with the header. Northeast, you feel, do have another gear if they want to just step things up a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, they've been just not going into that area. They've not used Ethan very promptly over there because he's been marked very heavily. It'll be interesting to see how much responsibility he takes on to hold on to the ball and get the midfielders around him to really turn the defenders.
United have won their last 8 games in a row. Durand Cup. the last time they didn't win in the regulation time was the final in 2024, where they went on to beat Mumbergan Supergiant on penalties to win their first Durand Cup. Such a well-received victory in this part of India, their first silverware. And then went and did it again last year. And they're looking for a third in a row, and who would deny them that, the way they've started this competition? Mark McCartan. The two teams might have a few things to say about that. Mumbergan, East Bengal, if they get through as one of the second place teams. Sporting Club Delhi have looked very good as well in this competition, with a few new faces, Rodriguino particularly.
Getting some new players coming in and getting their place right away is really entertaining. We're looking at goals, and I think this will continue. A great pre-season tournament to really find the combinations and looking out for fresh talent. A lot of scouting out over here, coaches watching matches, and that's going to be something that Durand Cup brings to the table, you know.
Satrastegi just had to react quickly there when that ball came through the defence. It wasn't a great clearance by Mohan Raj, but finds Tondomba. Moyano. Ashia. Robin Yadav has pressed quite high up in that right back position. Parthiv Gogoi's goal after 11 minutes separates the side after a brilliant run and cross by Jitin. Satrastegi. Moyano. A lovely flick over the top. It's a great run as well by McCartan. Stride right as we hit the drinks break in the first half. That was a lovely flick over the top from Moyano, and McCartan couldn't quite sort his feet out to get the ball across.
Yeah, brilliant piece of run over there, and that's something we should talk about. The moment up front over there, if you get that diagonal over here, look at that ball coming in. The lob really deceived him. He just couldn't get that angle right over there. Very acute, but nevertheless, the run was absolutely brilliant, and the pass was great from this man.
Well, FC1 may be trailing here, but they had a glorious opportunity to take the lead early on in the game. As one Pedro Benali gives his side a team talk, which is always good. The drinks break, of course, allows things just to be broken up in the first half. It'll also give his opposite number, Khalid Qayoum, a similar opportunity. But this was the penalty incident. As the ball came in from the corner, it struck the arm of Robin Yadav. It's a clear penalty. There was arguments for a push in there as well, but Mohan Raj brilliantly saving from Musa. And then this goal just minutes later put North East in front.
And they were punished for the mistake. And what a way to come from behind to take that goal. It'll be interesting over here, Mark, that both the teams are getting a little breather over here. The coaches are really trying to get them on the hang that the game is a little bit slow when you talk about build-ups. Then we have seen North East United really firing onto the wings, getting in for the middle. But this time, they've not done too much on the wide, one or two. But that goal comes in from Jitin. Otherwise, it's a very slow tactical match, because you have a striker like Ethan Moraes, who's been really marked heavily by Iqlaq Fiaz.
He hasn't managed to find a huge amount of space. Parthiv Gogoi with the goal. He scored for the fourth successive Durand Cup. Scored a hat-trick against Shillong Lejong back in 2023. Was on the mark against Shillong again in their first win in 24, and then last year, as we say, got a vital goal against Bodo Land, and then scored in the final in first half stoppage time against Diamond Harbour. FC1 don't look completely out of this, though. They have shown that there is a little bit about them going through midfield, particularly Musa and Muzaffar. Haven't really managed to pick out Shakir up front yet and give him a clear opportunity.
Yep. is showing that they're playing that mid-block now. They're not really getting into the pressing area in the attacking third. And that way they're trying to move the deep defenders up front so that they can get the space, because they have in them Partip on one side, Jitin on the other side, McCartan also getting into the lines. It'll be interesting to see how they really make the best of the chances.
This is an opportunity for them now. Shakir goes racing through. He got a touch on it, but not enough to trouble Mohan Raj with any great save needed. But that's one of their best attacking moves of the match so far.
Yeah, brilliant piece of work over there, especially building up from behind, getting onto that wide. We were talking about that channel. And look at that, beautifully waiting for Shakir to really come over there. He just couldn't get that touch, couldn't get that glide that he wants to. Let's slip that ball in that angle. Just hit his feet and went out.
I think he's a little fortunate the flag didn't go up for offside there, because I thought he'd just gone beyond the last defender. But would have been interesting had it gone in. Flag did stay down. No goal though. Here's Tondumba. Satrastegi. Maya Cannon. Good defending from Salha, just used his strength to get his body in the way. Another one of many former Royal Kashmir players that are part of this FC1 squad. Has played youth football for India as well. Abdul Salah played in the SAF Cup in Bhutan in 2024.
I should see that press over there, especially when they are deep into that own half. A little bit of press really dislodges them not to think of just clearing the ball. Just gives it away for a throw-in.
First of two games today. Nong Se against Bombay FC is the second game tonight. Another chip into the box looking for the run of Partip. It's a heavy challenge, which is going to bring a free kick.
Yeah, that was a lot more like a wrestling pull from up. And Hozafa simply gets onto him. Look at him. Just pulls him out and goes beyond him. It's more like a wrestling.
Maya Cannon was the man brought down. Not quite out for the count, but just clumsy. But a free kick in a dangerous position. We've already seen a good delivery from Moyano. I wonder if this is within his shooting range. We'll soon get a look at his prowess from set pieces. It is in his shooting range, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. Comfortable for Aftab.
Nice to see that ball clear that ball over there. Just goes over the ball very beautifully, dips it rightly, but the angle was not good. If it was on the either side of the goalkeeper, that could have made it dangerous for the goalkeeper. Would have tested him. But nevertheless, it's a target. It's a shot on target by him.
No stranger to Indian football, of course. He was at Diamond Harbour for the latter part of their promotion season. Scored 5 goals in 12 games. Got a couple in away win at Aizawl back in March as well, that actually took them top of the IFL table. Now picked off by North East United for the upcoming season. Here come FC1 again as we enter the final stages of the first half. Be a good time to get themselves back into the match. Early cross straight into the arms of Mohan Raj. Again, just lacking a little bit of composure on the cross.
Very interesting that they're getting through there in the attacking third. They're really getting onto that channel which is required. Very free. They've not been pressed enough over there. But otherwise, Hayat is a man who can actually show his prowess up front there.
Jitin. Out wide to Etienne. Headed away by Armando. Not very far though. Robin. Etienne again happy to roll it back to Satrastegi. Northeast turned to exert a little bit of pressure at the end of the first half. Tondumba. Satrastegi. Maya Cannon. Moyano. Oh, Almost found a way through. Too many red shirts back behind the ball, though.
It was nice to see the Mayakanan's run, after giving that ball to the defender, does pretty well to cut that off. But that was a great combination over there. Antonio and Mayakanan simply get onto that 1-2, try to get it behind the defender.
Moyano. Ashia. Just out of the reach once again. A reminder, Aladin Ajare is on the bench tonight for North East United. Wonderful goal-scoring record in India. Nikola Ninkovic, the recently added Serbian. Might get a look at him. Abdul Rabi as well, who's another new face that's joined North East for the new season, who has started already in this competition. He adds a little bit of pace as well. A young player that plays with a great deal of enthusiasm in India. So options for Juan Pedro Benali, who made 10 changes to his starting 11.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether FC1 has been successful in breaking that rhythm of attacking football that we saw from Benali's men in the previous two matches. They were really ruthless. They came in from the wide, they came in from the mid. But here, the team is playing mid-block, not really contesting over here, though they have made themselves clear of qualifying for the quarterfinal stage. But this is something that will be interesting to watch. FC1 defending beautifully here.
Well, I think what FC1 will be mindful of is that North East United have led 1-0 in their previous two games, went on to score 5 in the second half against Bodoland and 3 in the second half against Morning Star. So the job is far from done. North East United, not saying they're a second half team, but so far in this competition they have been.
Yeah, maybe reserving their energy for the second half, getting in fresh pair of legs and trying to find the depth in the defense and the bench today. But nevertheless, they've given a little bit of confidence to FC1. That was just sweeping his hand, an elbow hitting on his head. They've given them a little confidence as the game is a bit slow, the mid-block, not really pressurizing the defenders when they get the ball.
Raj came and then backed off, realised he wasn't going to reach that, and then a bit of a misunderstanding maybe with Tondomba. Not afraid to say his piece. It wasn't the greatest ball in from Farhan in the end.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch that deep. And Tondomba thought that the goalkeeper was just coming out, but it was a little far away. And that's what the goalkeeper is telling him.
It's Partib. Nice ball back. Was that a handball? And Armando. Well, it certainly looked, there was straight away, there was an appeal from Effian, there was an appeal from Partib, but this time the referee doesn't point to the spot. Be interesting to see how far Armando's arm was away from his body. It certainly looked like a good shot for a penalty from North East United.
Yeah, looking at Partib, his speed, his agility inside the box, I thought he would go on for the ball straight to the goal. Look at that, he cuts in very well. But his eye on the option was absolutely brilliant. A first timer coming there, yes, it's hit his hand, but looked like it was there on the body itself.
Actually, looking at that again, I'm not sure it did hit his arm. It seemed to just come off his body, but initially I thought his arm was away from his body with the angle we first saw it at. That will be a free kick.
Yeah.
Farhan Satrastegi.
Match. Shakir just coming out and sweeping him off his feet.
Scored their first ever Durand Cup goal. Shakir in that first game against Morning Star, and then provided a cross for Hayat Bashir to head in the winner. Very good game from him in that first match. Moyano trying to just play that between the two defenders. Salman cut it out though. Ashia. Moyano just quietly going about his business in midfield and then looking to get a Play that ball into Jitin, who switched over to that far side now. Partib is on the near side.
I think very little space behind the defenders over here. A little bit of more movement from the players, will really open up. They have to really stretch the defenders, move the defenders away from by moving away.
It's just too high for Robin. I just think the sun got in his eyes a little bit there as well. That ball was a little bit high for him as well. Trying to press Musa, just forced back by two, but he's done well. Hayat, 2 minutes added time at the end of the first half. Shakir.
Good piece of defending there, Mark. They didn't panic when they were pressed a little bit high. They kept on passing the ball in that area till Northeast resigned to get back into that mid-block.
Salman, pressed by Tondomba, and pressed a little unfairly by Tondomba, right in front of Juan Pedro Banana, who didn't think that was a foul.
Yeah, but he was right in control. Look at that. The technique of keeping the ball in front and the defender behind paid off with that free.
Salman Latif. Here he is again. More attacking sense this time. Hold up play again from Shakir. Muzaffar. Musa. Salha. Out wide. Musa again. Just too high. Needed to take a little bit off that. It'll be comfortable for Mohan Raj.
A nice build up there. Once again, Khalid Qayyum's boys has shown that they mean a little bit business over here. Nothing to lose. Let us go up. Try those 3-4 passes. No panic whatsoever, but the diagonal did not come really well. All the option was concentration on the mid. Shakir there, waiting for the ball.
A few seconds to go. Northeast will just run the clock down, I'm sure, to the halfway point. It looks as though for the third successive match in this Durand Cup, they're going to go in at half-time with a single goal lead. It's enough that would take them through with a 100% record at the top of the group. Jitin. Too many bodies between him and the goal once more. McCartan gives chase to Iglak as the referee brings the first half to a close. Well, FC1 had a great chance to take the lead after a handball. Penalty was awarded. Musa, though, couldn't find a way through. But then Jitin, with a real burst of pace, played the ball into Partib Gogoi, who had the simple chance to slide the ball into the net at half-time. It's Northeast United 1, FC1 0.
Yeah, great piece of work over there. We saw defense versus attack, and the match stat will tell you all. It was an even Steven there in ball possession, but 5 shots from Northeast United, 3 on target, 1 on board, made it 1-0 in the half-time.
Capitalised and maybe got more than that one goal. Just that one effort. Sustainability and water conservation, very much the theme, but they rewarded a penalty spot.
A piece of work there from the goalkeeper, really keeping his eye down on the right side, making that save, which was very important. But look at this ball coming in from Jitin, all the effort, getting the ball between the defender and the goalkeeper. The Partib really keeps his cool, just had to tap that ball home, and what a goal that was.
Yeah, another great goal for Partib, who's now scored in 4 successive editions of the Durand Cup. Armando's head around, saw a shot come bouncing in. It was a little flick from Satrastegi, who was heading back towards his central defensive position. Looked out of the air by half-time, very comfortably so. Goes down as an effort on target. Jitin again with another quality cross. Just a little bit too much on him for Partib in the middle. But they weren't completely completely out of it, FC1. Shakir showing good movement in the middle. Quite get the positive touch on it. Murray able to get.
Yeah, beautiful walk here once again from Shakir. Really tried, otherwise it was a little bit dusted in the middle of the park. One or two free kicks here from Antonio. Just could not keep that away from the goalkeeper. And this one. It was a penalty. The shout was there, but the referee thinks otherwise. Otherwise, this game was absolutely brilliant.
We know Northeast United have scored lots of goals in the second half. Will this game follow a similar pattern? Just the one in the first half from Partim Gagoi after 11 minutes. Half time in Guwahati. Northeast United 1, FC1 0.
विचार, एक आइडिया और बिजनेस का जज्बा, बस इतना ही चाहिए शार्क टैंक इंडिया के रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए।
ड्रम्स के मंच पर होगी नोबडी विद हर्ष और भारती।
बचपन से मेरा एक ही शौक था कि पति की खूब सेवा करूंगी।
तो करती क्यों नहीं हो?
बचपन खत्म, शौक खत्म।
भारती जब छोटी थी तब भी इससे बड़ी थी। भारतीय सेना सिर्फ सीमाओं की रक्षा नहीं, बल्कि सड़कें, पुल बनाने से लेकर पर्यावरण, आपदा सहायता, कौशल विकास और शिक्षा के जरिए राष्ट्र निर्माण में भी अपनी अहम भूमिका निभाती है। और यही सेवा भाव स्वास्थ्य सेवा में भी साफ दिखाई देता है। जहां पहुंचना मुश्किल है, वहां भारतीय सेना जरूरी स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं सीधे उन लोगों तक पहुंचाती है जिन्हें इसकी सबसे अधिक जरूरत होती है।
कारगिल में लहराया जज्बा, तैयार है हर चुनौती के लिए। अब युद्ध सीमाओं तक सीमित नहीं, ये लड़ाई है डेटा, साइबर और स्पेस की।
Finisher like him really in India since the days of the great Koro down at FC Goa, but he is a natural goal scorer as we look at his numbers there, Henry.
Absolutely brilliant. As soon as he comes in, he gets inside, he drafts the defenders. He exactly knows how to do his skill at top level, and his finish very clinical. And this is what we talk about Hazare. As soon as he gets the ball, the entire crowd roars over there, and that's a motivation for him to really get that ball behind the defenders, behind the goalkeeper, and get onto that crowd. What a way he has started off this tournament.
The way he started the tournament, his overall record in Indian football, 44 games, 43 goals. Doesn't get much better than that. A goal a game, you can't really argue with that, can you? And I just saw there on those stats, his shooting accuracy is only 56%.
So many
Quite
chances he
frightening.
creates. Yeah, it's really brilliant to see a player like him. We've seen Rodriguez also getting in for Delhi, and he also created something like this. The magic. More the goal scorers, more entertainment over here. Najade is the man where everybody will go to watch him today.
Fans love to see goals, of course. He was on loan at Persija Jakarta last season, as were a number of Indian Super League players from various clubs going to Indonesia. Adrian Luna, Noah Sadawi, Tiri. But let's hope he gets on. That hat-trick for against Bodo Land was his fourth hat-trick for North East United. And those fans really do worship him here, as they do the rest of the team. When Petro Benali has built a good, strong squad here, and a lot of youth players, when Nashad Musa moved here from Bengaluru, they brought a lot of players from Bengaluru's youth system to continue their development. And those players are now starting, the likes of Robin Yadav, to be integrated into the first team picture as well.
That's a great opportunity. Northeast really takes care of their talent, and they really build from below. Especially now they're moving into grassroots and youth football. It'll be interesting to see. But here FC really thinking that they can really try and get into the attacking third and get a goal for them. And that's the trio who just came in inside, discussing that if they can keep that compactness in the defense and try to play those 1 or 2 on the wings, they've got a chance to get into the opponent half.
Well, on FC1, we talk about defining moments in football matches, and if they score that penalty early on in the game, all of a sudden the complexion of the game changes. But the fact North East United scored so soon after that, it almost had the kind of double whammy effect on them, really.
Yeah, that's how we talk about in football, you know. When you get a goal, the concentrations are very low, and that's the time teams, experience like Northeast United really takes that advantage, gets in the opponent half as quick as possible to get that goal. And that really shattered them, especially the penalty first, and then that goal has hit them really hard. This man Shakir has shown that he can actually get into that area. That one glancing shot that he could have taken in the first half could have changed the combination of the game totally.
Yeah, the only shot on target they had was the penalty, saved by the debutant goalkeeper Mohan Raj, who comes in for Gurmeet today. Made an immediate impact for the club he joined just a few weeks ago. Spent 7 years at Chennai, the goalkeeper, and those FC1 players. New surroundings, new environment, new challenges for them. Their first Durand Cup campaign.
Sometimes I think, you know, if they don't be compact and disciplined and behind and try only to get moving up on the counters, they would be a little bit, you know, safe. But if they open up the game and end-to-end football, that will be unnecessary risk for FC1.
Won their opening game, were very much on a high after that 2-1 win over Morning Star. Comeback win as well, having trailed and then got ahead and then gone down to 10 men. They went through every emotion on their way to those 3 points, but then that heavy defeat to Bodoland brought them crashing back down to earth. Bodoland have been participants in plenty of Durand Cups. They know what this tournament is all about. Referee Kishore Chowdhury gets us underway for the second half. Northeast United in white today, leading FC1 by a 1-0. And as you mentioned, right at the end of the first half, it's the second game in a row where Northeast have led 1-0 at half time, but they have gone on to score plenty of goals in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting whether they get this first 10 minutes will be important here. Whether Northeast United will really take on the attacking mode that they enjoyed.
There's an early ball in, and it's for the substitute Rinzuala. You just saw who's come on for Etienne at the start of the second half, and Rinzuala just getting up high, but not quite high enough.
A great piece of work to be in the right place at the right time is very important. Well, look at him. He just moves very quickly. As soon as the ball comes, was in the onside position. Oh, he was off.
Rinzuala, who started one of the first 2 games. Aside from Aizawal last summer, another former Bengaluru youth player. Satrastegi hasn't looked out of place at the back. So used to seeing Miguel Zabaco there, of course, in the past few seasons. Sashia. They scored 18 goals on the way to retaining their Durand Cup title last season. This is the 135th Indian Oil Durand Cup, of course, powered by State Bank of India and Coal India Limited, organised by the Indian Armed Forces and supported by the government of Assam.
That's really very sporting here. Especially McCartan, really boot was very high. If we try to get him sandwiched inside, Hayat comes and shakes his hand, picks the player up. That's great sporting gesture.
Here's Hiklak, the FC1 captain. They do to open up this Northeast United defence in the second half, I wonder. Zahid with a long ball forward. Certainly Shakir's movement was very good. They just couldn't seem to pick out the pass that would give him a chance at goal.
Yeah, but that was a deflection, really a little bit troubling. The Robin Yadav just couldn't keep that in, deflected for a throw-in.
Almost a good ball down the line for Rinzuala. It's just curled out of play though.
Yep. Very early in the match, they showed that they can get in numbers. They really did well with their passing in that left side. Just couldn't get over Robin.
Good defending again. Just timed the tackle, didn't dive in, waited the moment, parted. Just stabbed on by Maya Cannon. Just too far ahead of Rinzuala though, who's looking to try and get in between those two central defenders.
Yeah, it was early. Armando was really picking up on Ethan early in the game, but now with Rinzuala, he's just left him open. He will drift the defenders to create that space. That'll be interesting to watch.
Another game to come a little bit later on this evening. Nong-Say against Bombay FC, and then the penultimate day of group matches. Great ball into Chitin. Goalkeeper came out. If Chitin gets a touch on that, he has an empty net in front of him. The goalkeeper came racing out. Neither of them managed to get a touch in the end.
Super stuff, and I think always the diagonal ball is always teasing the defenders, just not knowing what to do. But this time the goalkeeper doesn't communicate well, comes out of his line. Look at him, he has a sigh of relief over there. Just couldn't get that touch for Chitin. Otherwise that would have been a lovely goal to watch, and that's going to be interesting to see how the 10-15 minutes of the second half go about. Will FC try and compact the defense, not give that space?
Might be a bit of an injury for Hayat here. Maybe just sorting his boots out, I'm not sure, but hopefully he'll be able to continue. Saw an interesting comment from the... Oh, there's the challenge.
Yeah, I think he slipped on himself.
Interesting comment from their CEO, Jihad Shora, who said, "We're not here to compete with anyone or copy someone's journey. We're built on grassroots football sustainability and long-term results."
That's brilliant. We've seen him talk about this with Real Kashmir also. I think he's a common founder of both these teams.
Robin Yadav, nice ball over the top. That was Vakata just trying to lay that off for Rinzuala.
Yeah, nice 4-5 touches in the middle of the park over there, really getting up and behind. A little bit more communication there up front for this combination to work. That ball would have been behind the defenders.
That's Partey, who felt he'd been wrestled to the ground there by Salah. I think Juan Pedro Bernali felt the same as well. Nothing given though.
If you look at physical dominance over here, both the teams are equal over there. They don't allow each other. They keep their weight on the ball.
North East United have scored 18 goals in each of the last two editions of this competition. 10 goals going into this match. Already just got the one. As long as they get the 3 points to keep their momentum going into the quarterfinals, I'm sure Juan Pedro Bernali will be relatively happy. Satrastegi. There's Maya Cannon. And Chitin. There's a handball. That'd be a free kick. I don't think the ball was going to reach its intended target, so they got away with that one a little bit. Chance for maybe Moyano from the free kick again.
Interesting way up. Gillian, his work rate has been great. He's been doing pretty well over there. He got that first goal pass, but this was a handball, very clearly seen that. Sometimes we wonder whether that's goal bound over there and the handball coming with purpose. What the referee should act on. Should he bring out the yellow card?
It's a good point, actually. No yellows yet. Satrastegi heads across. And Partey Gugoi is on the spot once again. And the side who score a lot of their goals in the second half have got their first here to double their advantage. Satrastegi headed back, nobody picked up Partib, and he stabs in his second goal of the game, and North East lead by 2-0.
Satrastegi, we're talking about him time and again. How will he get into the action? And this is how it comes. Antonio on the ball, and look at that, right on the far edge, gets that second ball. Pretty well, Gogoi. He really controls that. The first touch really keeps him in the play. And look at that. He drags the ball like in hockey they do with the stick and puts that ball on the far corner. Super goal there.
That's a good finish. That ball was he had to stretch quite a way to bring that ball back, but did it really well there, Partib Gogoi, who's on a hat-trick. So he scored a hat-trick back in the first game that started this excellent unbeaten run for them against Shillong Lajong back in 2023. Lost all 3 games in their first edition of the Durand Cup, but they did play a young side. The first team had gone off into the Middle East to train. Now it'll be tough for FC1. That's a late challenge from Robin Yadav, who might get the first yellow card, and indeed does. We were just talking about yellow cards a moment or so ago. Left the foot in there on Hayat.
Yeah, I think that's something that has to be taken care of. You know, it's in the middle of the park. There's no danger there. Don't get a yellow card in the middle of the park, and that's exactly what he needs to learn from. I'm sure Robin has been cutting off a lot of passes, especially with Jitin up there. But here, the boot is a little bit high there. He tries to sweep him off. Rightly pointed out by the referee.
First yellow card of the game. I don't think that was any worse than Armando's challenge in the first half, which went unpunished without a card. We do tend to see more cards in the second half as well as the game wears on. Satrastegi, who will claim the assist for the goal.
Yeah, that was
And
great.
Jitin. Good movement by Rinzuala, who got a touch to it, and he just took it away from Partib. You can see his reaction. Applause to the coach. It was a great ball in again from Jitin, causing all sorts of problems, but North East couldn't convert.
Yeah, give him the space on the wide. The way he gets onto that ball, he gets the curve, exactly gets the player pinpointed over there. Just could not tap the ball in.
Be an FC1 throw, just came off Partib. Durand stayed on his feet there despite the challenge from Iklak. Muzaffar. Good play by the captain, just feigned to send it back to the keeper. Shakir felt he was nudged in the back, but again, referee didn't.
Yeah, but very interestingly over here, Marka, is that technically also, I think FC1 have shown a little bit of good work there. Technically they are strong. They can get that one-touch football over there. The trapping is good and the passing has been good. Only that a little bit on the experience that they will get over a period of time.
Slight miscontrol there from Robin Yadav. So throw back to FC1. Footed out of play. North East will try and keep the pressure on here. Crowd trying to get behind them now. I think they've just seen Aladdin and Jare just be called to warm up. Maybe called back to come onto the field. He really is a hero here.
Yeah. It's delightful when you see him with the ball, his skill, his vision, his clinical finish. It's really heartening to watch him.
Satrastegi. Carton. Almost. Partib just got caught on his heels a little bit there, and you can see didn't quite react to the pass. He wasn't quite on the same wavelength with McCartan. It was a lovely ball through though.
Yeah, why. On the other hand, you talk about the defenders playing a little bit deep, not giving that space behind it, and that must have foxed him. But McCartan has been on that. He's trying to put that pinpoint ball between the defenders, and somebody has to read that. Rinzuala also. There's been a very good combination with McCartan earlier. We've seen in the games.
It's quite interesting as well with FC1. They do have coaches based in the different areas that they represent. One in Jammu, one in Srinagar, to pick up the local talent there. Really interesting to follow their progress now, having seen them in the Durand Cup. It's Satrastegi. North East just starting to take control of the game again. Robin Yadav. Brilliantly cut up by Hiklak, but he used his arm. Thought he got his leg up. Thought he managed to get his leg up just in time there, but not to be. Another handball.
But that was a great interception there, especially when you know that the ball is rising over there. Your one leg has gone up, and then the arm for self-defense. And that's how they get the free kick. Hiklak has been a great stopper back there. He's playing in two different roles. One in front of Armando to cut off all that will come from Rinzuela.
He did play for the Downtown Heroes a couple of years ago in the Durand Cup. Hiklak. A free kick. Satrastegi goes down on the edge of the area. Again, just a natural coming together. Muzaffar. Salha. Bit of space in front of him to try and utilise here. Comfortable from Moyano, just flicking that back to Moenraj. And now they'll build again from the back with Ashir Akhtar. Moyano. Tondomba. Now Robin Yadav. Good shape. 9 players back behind the ball, or outfield players back behind the ball, should I say, for FC1. Just Shakir fighting that low roll on his own up front. Here's Moyano. North East trying to be creative and find some space through those red shirts. Tondomba down the line for Jitin. Zahid will get there and just shepherd that behind for a goal kick though.
Every two tall figures behind over there. Hiklak and Zahid simply gets the better of the attackers. And this will be first pair of legs for them. It'll get them into the game a little bit more speed, and they have been compact behind. They've kept themselves in that two lines, not giving that space from the middle of the park to enter, though McCartan and Antonio are trying to put those balls between them, and that's the man that everybody's watching over here. Jariad Alodin will be there, and Nikolai also.
Yeah, so the changes first for FC1. Ilyas and Basit have come on to replace Hayat and Shakir. Shakir was moving himself around quite a lot. But the double change, Aladdin Ajere is on for Jitin. And a first look at the new signing from Serbia, Nikola Ninkovic, who won 3 Serbian league titles with Partizan Belgrade. Was at Sumgayit in Azerbaijan last season. Vastly experienced, over 350 top-flight games for Ninkovic. But Ajere, well, what do we need to say? Not a lot. Speaks for himself, really. He will cause all sorts of problems. This could be a long night now for this FC1 defence. Ninkovic straight away getting into the action, pressing Armando. Party of Gogoy's 2 goals, 1 in each half, is the difference between the teams. That's not a bad-looking ball over the top, actually. Bassett trying to get involved straight away. And then Farhan is brought down.
Yeah, great set-piece work once again. Look at that. They really make themselves available on that wide channel, but doesn't give them that opportunity. A little bit tall, towering over that body, just brings them down. But otherwise, he's been in the action in the second half.
Musa and Farhan over the free kick. It's a better looking ball in. I think it may well have been Moyano that just got his head to that one. Huzafa. Moyano again. Ninkovic with a possible pushing shot there. On by Alajare. Flag stays down. It's a chance for Rinzuala. Just had to check back. Good save by Aftab. Lovely ball from Ajare. Just helped it on its way first time. Rinzuala was onside. That's a good save by Aftab.
Brilliant piece of work over there, especially when they were defending so badly that a ball comes over there to Ajare. Look at him. Swings that ball right behind the defenders, and look at Rinzuela. He really comes in, doesn't take an attempt to cut inside, but from that acute angle tries to put the ball in the far end. Goalkeeper really alert. A great agility shown there for the goalkeeper. Oh, what a chance that was. 3 passes, it would have been a goal.
Yeah, I think Rinzuela's touch just took him a little bit wide, which is why he had to drag it back. Ninkovic will take the corner. Aftab opts to punch and got good distance on that. Moyano. Ninkovic. Moyano. Floated high again. Aftab spills it. And Ajare puts it wide. Well, you'd have put your house on him finding the back of the net there, Aladin Ajare. The goalkeeper completely spilled it. And Ajare's put the shot wide.
Yeah, I thought that was bringing down the goalkeeper there. If you look at that, the number 11, Pratip, was the man just dislodging that goalkeeper from that ball, collecting it very cleanly. But Ajare, I'm sure he must have heard the referee's whistle there for a foul.
Ninkovic. Partib. Hits Iklak. It's a short pass. Iklak did well though. Cherry was onto it like a flash. Salha. Robin Yadav. Ninkovic already looking quite composed on the ball. Tondomba. Satrastegi. Some movement up ahead of him. It's a little bit pedestrian from northeast. Maya Cannon out wide to Partib. Needs some quality. Just too high though for Aladin Ajare, who was closing in on that. Just needed to take a little bit off that Partib Gogoi.
A little bit, like you said, the ball is coming in. There's a very less number of movement up front over there. If you want somebody to attack the ball, you have 2 or 3 white shirts right inside. A little bit of quality could have made that better. It's great to see FC1 really defending very hard over there. We thought that the 10-15 minutes were going to be very vital.
Good save, Aftab. Caught that really well there. Never left the ground from Aladin Ajare. Good save by Aftab. Did score 8 goals in the competition last season, Ajare. A hat-trick against the Malaysian Armed Forces. He started brightly here as he looks for more goals to add to his tally here. 5 goals already. But there's the first of tonight's. Gets to the ball first, in between defender and goalkeeper. And the trademark finish, the trademark celebration. And Aladin Ajare is off and running in North East United's final group game. 3-0.
Wave after wave, the attack was coming. And we were waiting for this man to really show his magic over there. And look at that. A lovely ball from Patrick. He just sees the goalkeeper coming up, grafts that, creates that goal from there. What a sublime finish this is. Amazing play. What a goal that is. Delightful to watch time and again.
He won the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball for being the best player in the 24-25 ISL season. Scored goals wherever he's been. And now he has 6 in this edition. Goes level with Rodriguinho from Sporting Delhi.
Fantastic goal that was. Simply the combination between Pradeep and Ajari really works very well. And simply when you were talking about the pedestrian movement up front there, suddenly we see that striking like lightning between the two defenders. It was amazing to watch.
So I think I alluded to it earlier on. The only other striker that I can remember as being so prolific and clinical in front of goal is the great Coro, of course, who played for FC Goa. That was a similar kind of finish that we saw Coro on a number of occasions, those deft little lifts over the goalkeeper.
That's something that we'd love to watch. You know, what does a person do? What's the decision when he is in front of the goalkeeper and the two defenders behind you? You have the control of the ball. What you do is that just chip that ball, and what a way to get that 6th goal and be the top scorer along with Rodrigo.
Well, interesting. All 5 of those on that list have scored a hat-trick in this edition. 7 hat-tricks, which is the most we've had in a single edition of the Durand Cup. Rodriguinho scored 5 in a match. Even Ajari can't boast that. That's through to Aftab. North East United, one of those teams that nobody will want to face in the quarter-finals. We saw Mohan Bagan going through with big wins as well under Panos Stilmperis. The draw will be confirmed after the final group games on the 13th of August. Penultimate games tomorrow after tonight's Nongse against Mumbai game. Tomorrow it's Naroka against FC Rangde and Mohammedan against Indian Army. Here's Farhan. 20 minutes to go. Musa. Lovely ball through, the flag stayed down. It's a chance for the substitute, Ilyas! Well, North East are appealing to the assistant, but the flag has stayed down, and Ilyas has got FC1's 3rd goal of this Indian Oil Durand Cup. But was there a hint of offside in there?
Very surprising over that. But look at that run. Maybe very tight over there. Only the VAR can tell it. We cannot tell it from our naked eye, but what he did was a clinical finish over there. Gets inside from that wide range. He looks at the goalkeeper coming out and just guides that ball in, while all other look at the assistant referee.
Well, having saved a penalty earlier, there'll be no clean sheet for Mohan Raj on his debut. But a nice moment for Ilyas, the substitute. Did come on in the 90th minute against Bodoland in the last game, so didn't really have too much time to make an impact. We're going to see Toiba coming on for Satrastegi. This is Saikum Toiba, not to be confused with them all. Familiar Toiba, that you may know from Punjab days.
Yep.
Ankith has come on as well. And Taiba, who came through North East's youth system, one of the many players born in Manipur. Armando's header. Will that goal give FC1 a little bit of confidence now going into the final stages of the match?
Sometimes you wonder, when you're playing a lesser-known team that doing the first entry into the Durand Cup, and they have really kept the discipline. They've not really panicked. They've not really kept everything open. They've made it hard for North East United to really get in and around that defense, which is compact. And that's the patience that North East assured that they can really get through them. But what a goal to get them back into confidence.
Partip Gugoi is the other player that's gone off, by the way, to be replaced by Ankith, who makes his first appearance of this year's edition of the Indian Oil Durand Cup. His father was a prominent international back in the 80s and 90s. Had Manaban. Had a pivotal role in putting counter-attack football on the map as well. That will be the drinks break in the second half. North East will be glad of it. FC1 will just get a few instructions, but just trying to make the best of what they've got left now in the last 17 minutes in this competition.
Yeah, you can expect that in the second half. All of a sudden, the pressure comes up from the Northeast United, kept pressing the ball, winning the ball, getting onto the wides, getting in for the middle, and very successful there. Especially when we're thinking about 45 minutes of just one goal. Suddenly, in the next 15 minutes, we had a burst of two goals, one coming from Pradeep and the other from Aladdin Ajari. And what a swift movement that was.
Well, there is the goal from Partib that made it 2-0. Satterstregui with the ball back across. Did have to reach to get that ball. A good finish. Had time. No one was alive to the fact that he got the ball, and then Partib slipping the ball through for Ajare, who just lifts the ball over Aftab to get his 6th goal of this edition. Approaching 50 goals in Indian football, but then just a few moments ago, Ilyas getting one back, making no clean sheet for North East United. And I suppose the big question is, Henry, can North East United go on and win it for a 3rd successive year?
It's very interesting, because we talk about Delhi coming in with that force of strike, and then we talk about Mohun Bagan, East Bengal. Hopefully East Bengal gets in the second best place to get into the quarterfinal, but these teams are really competitive. Shillong Lajong is another team that we've seen really play attacking football. We'll come to know after tomorrow, how the teams have been placed in the quarterfinal. But yes, Northeast United has shown this time they're ruthless when it comes to attacking and getting behind the defenders, especially Ajari now Nicola. How that combination works, it'll be interesting to watch this two combine well.
They drew the final 2-2 with Mohun Bagan last year before going on to win on penalties. So if they win today, which it looks like they will be 20 games unbeaten in the Durand Cup. Their last defeat against the Kerala Blasters back in 2022. The only defeat was that penalty shootout, which doesn't really count as a defeat because it doesn't come in regulation time. Here's Muzaffar. Now Iklak. Salma. Clumsy challenge from Ashia. Free kick.
Getting interesting over here. Ashia really getting onto that, trying to get on the ball. The two-hand push simply gets him down to the advantage. Very well done and very well earned. This is the only time you'll see a lot of red shirts inside the box. And Northeast United to defend.
Farhan and Musa over the free kick. Farhan going for goal, trying to catch up Mohan Raj. The goalkeeper recovered his position though.
And the idea was very good overall. Farhan really thinks of going on to the top in the diagonal ball, but the goalkeeper makes his attempt to go up. A little cap scene over there. Farhan takes that shot, curls it in, but Mohan Raj recovers very quickly.
Vinkovic. Tondomba. Ajare's in the middle, too close to Aftab though, just needed to pull that back a little bit. Did have a bit more time before playing that ball in there. Tondomba. Here's Muzaffar. He's done well there. Iklak just sliding in and managing to prevent the ball from going out of play. Armando. He's played much deeper in this second half. Iklak started in front of the back four but was pressing forward. And now just almost playing as a third centre-back. There's a little header on for Rinzuala to chase. It's coolly done from Iftab. Big black. Farhan. Trying to play that with the outside of the boot to get some bend on it to try and get it into Bassett's path, but again it will run into touch for a goal kick.
Yeah, nice piece of work from him. Very seldom we see players going on with the outfoot, especially from that angle, to get the ball a little bit curl inside, but the weight on the ball was not very good enough. But nevertheless, it's shown a little bit of brilliance over here from FC1. They've not really panicked over there. The balls have come, the goals have come. A little bit of confidence after that first goal that they got from Ilyas. They've started playing the ball. They've started playing the ball around, trying to attack up front, reduce that pressure on the defense. They have to be very alert.
It's in the knockout stages last year. North East played Bodo Land in the quarterfinals, beat them 4-0. Shillong Lejong they beat for a second time in the semi-finals, having also beaten them in the group stages there. Big rivals from the North East, of course, and then that final where they completely outplayed Diamond Harbour with a 6-1 win. Here's Ankit. Nice ball down the line. Robin. Get to pull that back. Ninkovic arriving. Just cleared away in the nick of time. Now there might be a break on here for FC1. Farhan. Well defended. Ashir Akhtar, though, stuck to his job.
So done, yeah, especially when they get into the attack, they really compact themselves so well in the defense. And that's very interesting. When they get the ball, they just don't play over their one or two passes. They put that ball in the wide. They allow Farhan and Ilyas to do the job up front. And they've done pretty well to hold on to that ball and get a throw in.
Muzaffar. Armando. Zahid. Musa. Still only made the two changes. FC1. Inside the final 10 minutes. Iklak. Farhan. Nicely done. Didn't panic, didn't feel under pressure, just rolled it back to Mohnraj.
I think in this match we saw the first time, 10-15 passes just coming the way. FC really getting the possession. A little bit of impatience over there.
Great play from Ajari again, who just allowed the ball to roll through his body and just outpaced the defender. Love watching players when they're out wide run with their head up, always looking, always know where the ball is. They don't need to look at the ball. Almost picked out Ninkovic with a chance.
Yep. Super stuff here. That combination needs to work over there. Nikolai coming late inside is also giving an advantage over there because all the defense get into that attacking zone and just keeps that a little space for Nikolai to come from behind. That'll be interesting to watch if he can come and tap that ball home.
There's a Jerry again, just blocked off that time, thought it was a foul, realised that the whistle wasn't going to go, so pressure back on. Don't forget to come after this. Nongse against Mumbai FC, rounding off their campaigns in this Durand Cup. Moyano. Ankit. Robin Yadav, can he get some quality on the cross? Good low ball in. Rinzuala turns it goalwards, but just the wrong side of the post.
We need to see that fast circulation of the ball in the middle of the park, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to get in and about, but that cross was really good there. Rinzuala not really in that framework to see his vision. Had to glide that ball, but takes the shot off target.
Foul by Maya Cannon. So they've shown in flashes, FC1, that they've certainly got some quality in there. They've certainly got potential going forward in the future to do well, depending on whichever path they decide to take, of course, in Indian football.
Yeah, when we talk about psychological edge, you talk about Northeast United like a giant in front of you when you're playing Minos. But they have shown courage over there. They've never just given up. They just come in, get the balls, pass on to each other, try to go into the attacking third. And that is something that you love to watch, a team not getting afraid. You've seen teams just buckling down, going into the defensive area, and just keeping themselves tight there.
Ayan Bilal has come on for Salha. Second appearance off the bench for him. Comfortable for Toiber just to watch that back to his goalkeeper. He's only 17 years of age, Toiber. Moyano. Ninkovic. Ajare. Rinzuala in the middle. Faf Tabi. I'm sure he was going for goal there, Alajare. Just pushed away for a corner.
And that waiting time, look at Ajare. He exactly wants to know which space to go, whether to go on the right or left, but soon, quickly, gets onto his left, tries to put that ball up to Ankit, just goalkeeper intervening that.
He's actually gone for a throw. I thought that had gone out and come back in again, but assistant said no. Good clearance by, good defending rather by FC1. Ashir. Now Toiber. That's a heavy touch from Musa. And a free kick to Northeast United.
Very clear over here. Simply gets in over that. Look at that. Boot was high. It just couldn't. You have to have a little bit of respect for players, With that tackle, sometimes you can put the player out of his career, put him out of the season.
Bit of cramp creeping in, late stage of the game. So it has been very hot and humid here in Guwahati. It's good to see that the 4-goal-a-game average is just about being kept up as well. Northeast leading by 3-1. Here's Ankit. Does well. Great ball in. Just missed by Rinzuala. Aftab pushed it away. Quality ball in, asking questions in the middle. Rinzuala couldn't apply the finishing touch.
When we talk about that acceleration on the right, it's absolutely brilliant there. There are two things over there. Rinzuala could have got his head or foot. Something that will always be a question mark to ask over here. But nevertheless, that delivery was inch perfect.
Nikola Ninkovic with the corner. Short to Rinzuala. Nice touch to take him away from the defender. Jarre trying to get there, headed away by Zahid. Now a break on maybe for Ayan. Muzaffar. Musa. Down the line for Bassett. Confirmation of the next match. Nongse against Mumbai FC. Two more days of group action after today, as we've said. Then the quarter-final lineup will be complete. We'll know the 6 teams that have won their groups and the 2 best runners-up that are going through to the last 8.
If you look at the team FC1 that has displayed today, I think 2 of the defenders, Zaid and Iklak, have really shown that they can really play and keep elite teams at bay. But nevertheless, the 3 midfielders, Muzaffar, Musa and Farhan, has really impressed over here. with their calmness, coolness, keeping the ball along with themselves, trying to get into the attacking zone.
Down the line by Salman. That's not a good ball in. Easy for Toiber to cut out. Rinzuala. Jerry on the chase again, but again Zahid didn't panic, knew Jerry was behind him, just cushioned it back to his goalkeeper.
Yes. His physics is absolutely brilliant. I love it. And stoppers are that physically strong, great in the air, always keeps the forwards up front.
The Highlanders edging closer to another victory. Taken to 20 games unbeaten in the Durand Cup. Muzaffar. Iklak. Another change, Sahil coming on for FC1. Salman is the man going off. Sahil Mushtaq comes on for his first appearance. Just get a few moments. We think there'll be 4 minutes added time, so always frustrating, of course, for a new team when you've got players on the bench that don't manage to get on, so at least the coach trying to give one or two of the newer faces a few minutes. There's Tondomba and Ninkovic. Moyano just got underneath it, just flicked it out of his feet and then hit it first time, but long way from goal.
That combination was good enough to put that vertical ball straight to Moyano, who really turns very quickly, just couldn't keep that balance of his, and the weight of the ball was really not there. Scoots it up.
They've got a lot of promise. He does remind me of Andy, because Andy and Jairo, as you mentioned, were two of the foreigners last season for North East United. So it'll be Robin Yadav trying to get some distance. We saw one in the first half. He's wanted to go a little bit shorter this time. Now can he get a good cross in? Driven in low, cleared away by Armando. The ball's going to stay in play. Toiber. A bit of spin on that one. Ninkovic. Cherry trying to peel away from his man. Tondomba. It's in towards it. Cherry! Well, it dropped over Armando, and he would have seen it late, but just couldn't quite keep that header down.
Fantastic run, you know. When you see a man like that running from behind, a little bit late running, look at that. The ball comes in and makes himself very much available. He was in an offside position, yes or no? Yes.
Well, he was, but again, the flag didn't go up. The assistant pointed for a goal kick, so that was one in the first half where it might have been interesting if the ball had ended up in the back of the net, but no harm done. But again, Ajare's positioning, Ajare's movement is just a joy to watch.
You just have to put that ball and he'll run late over there, get inside to attack that ball, and that's going to be very interesting how he'll plan the next of the season. Zafa, the man who brought down there, simply doesn't allow him to get up front.
Ankit gets to the byline once again. That's a couple of times now he's managed to get his way to the byline. Ankit looking very dangerous. Scored in the opening win against Bodoland in 2024. Ankit. Ajare. cross, but again, too high for everyone in the middle.
We saw from the bench, you could hear somebody say, no one there. But nonetheless, he gets past the defender, a little space over there to cross. He does his bit, and nobody there to attack that. But very nice to see Hozafa and Musa really combine pretty well in that middle of the park. They keep the ball rolling. They keep themselves in such a way. Push from behind that.
Play continues. Moyano into the final minute of added time. Ninkovic, Tondomba on the overlap. Just stabbed out wide to him. Now can he find a cross? Moyano. Ninkovic. Not too sure what Ninkovic was doing there. Was expecting Robin to be a little bit further forward, but it comes to nothing.
Yeah, didn't read the ball well. But nevertheless, these diagonal balls can really create a problem for the defenders who just don't have an idea what happens there.
Touch and move by Ajare, always looking to get into a dangerous position. Tondomba, Ninkovic have to be quick here, Northeast, if they want to add another. Better looking ball in, it's come off Zahid, and we'll go for a corner, but there won't be time to take it as the referee brings the game to a close, and Northeast United close out their group campaign with 3 wins. 2 more goals coming in the second half, a couple for Partib and an obligatory goal from Aladdin Ajare after he came off the bench. Interesting to get a few minutes for Ninkovic as well. Moyano control things in midfield, but all in all, job well done from Northeast United, who beat FC1 by 3-1.
Very respectable score here for FC1. And it was for them. They defended pretty well. The captains, Iklak, Zaid and Armando really did pretty well to keep that high line behind. And it was very, very strong here, not giving Ajare that movement behind the defenders. But otherwise, this match was expected to be on the Northeast. But what an experience for FC1. If you look at the match stats.
15 shots for Northeast United, 7 on target, 3 shots, 3 on target for FC 100%. But they leave here with great memories, of course, after that opening win over Morning Star, and they certainly haven't disgraced themselves on their debut Indian Oil Durand Cup campaign. Well, Northeast United knew a win would take them through. They were virtually guaranteed anyway because of their goal difference, but they gave away an early penalty, a handball by Robin Yadav, and he gave Musa the chance, but debutant goalkeeper Mohan Raj made a good save.
Yeah, that was a brilliant piece of work that set the pace for them. They simply came in and look at you, Dave, just putting the ball across the defender in front of the goalkeeper. Went so teasingly that Partib just had to tap that ball and create that opening that was very much necessary for Northeast to get into the game.
Well, Northeast kept pressing. Moyano's free kick was straight at Aftab, who made a comfortable stop. But certainly the new Spanish signing looking good in midfield. Chitin again was involved with a free kick. Moyano chipped in. Satrastegui headed it back, and Partib grabbed his second of the game.
Yeah, I think that was a great goal over there, simply because of his class over there, keeping the ball very close to him and scooping the ball about there. And this man was happy that they got that extra lead so that he can bring in more men into the attack. There were chances, really half chances, we would say.
Chitin's ball in, Rinzuala got a touch. Partib was waiting for it to come to him. Rinzuala again. First touch just took him a little wide. He had to check back, and it favoured the goalkeeper there, Aftab, who pushed the ball away to safety. Goalkeeper spilled the ball. Ajare's first shot on goal was to put the ball wide, but it wouldn't be long before he was on the score sheet.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be a goal first over here, but look at that that crafty movement from this man, Aladdin Ajare. 3 defenders behind him, goalkeeper in front. Just scoops that ball as if it is just an ice cream from a pot.
Goes level at the top of the Golden Boot table with Rodriguinho from Sporting Delhi. They did get a goal back, FC1, and a nice moment for Ilyas, who gets just their third goal, in the Indian Oil Durand Cup after that 2-1 win in their opening game over Morning Star. But it was just a consolation. North East tried to add more. Ankit came on and put several teasing balls in. But good defending from Zahid and Iklak helped keep the score down. No disgrace for them. And Ajare's late header over probably summed things up for them. But it is another win. 3 wins out of 3. 20 games unbeaten in the Durand Cup. And the 2-time champions are into the quarterfinals unscathed after the group stage. Confirmation, 2 from Partey, 1 from Ajare, and Ilyas with